South Carolina's Broadband office wraps up capital projects fund allocations in the Palmetto State. Mixed forecasts on broadband spending, a second major streaming joint venture in as many weeks, and a lot of record-setting numbers from Super Bowl 58. Those stories and more on This Week in the Broadband Universe. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Craig Corbin. Word from the South Carolina Broadband office this week announcing a conclusion to the deployment of the state's $185 million capital projects fund allocation. The office recently awarding $71.5 million for 16 projects across the Palmetto State. All ARPA CPF grants must be complete by December 29th of 2025. In addition to wrapping up CPF allocations, the South Carolina Broadband office also announced allocation of a $40 million award, marking the state's final grant funded by ARPA SLFRF, state and local fiscal recovery funds. On the heels of last month's FCC notice of proposed rulemaking, which would expand the number of non-English languages used in emergency alerts, NCTA, the Internet and Television Association, has voiced concern about the logistical and technical challenges for cable providers such a move would create. Current emergency alert system and video architecture would require massive overhaul in order to comply. Many providers carry channels in more than 15 different languages. A mixed bag on projects for broadband-related spending in 2024. According to Del Oro Group, total broadband access equipment spending looks to be down by 1% this year, even with the anticipated jump in activity during the third and fourth quarters. That sector saw a drop of 8 to 10% during 2023. Cable access network infrastructure spending is expected to rise by 7% in 2024 and continue to grow throughout 2025. PON equipment revenue expected to increase by more than $1 billion this year. Good news for Altice USA in midweek trading following word that the cable provider met Q4 forecasts. Despite the positive announcement, Altice USA shares are down 33% year to date. The company earlier this year instituted substantial price cuts for fiber services after losing more than 62,000 video subs in the fourth quarter. That percentage-wise makes it one of the worst losses industry-wide. Streaming partnerships, the flavor of the month, and now Comcast and Paramount Global in talks to form a joint venture. That's in response to last week's announcement of a sports bundle with ESPN, Fox, and Warner Brothers Discovery. That from the Wall Street Journal. If the partnership comes to fruition, you might see a joining of Paramount Plus and NBCU's Peacock. Observers are predicting more than a few lawsuits from a wide variety of distributors as the streaming partnerships potentially accelerate pay TV cord cutting. ACA Connects, which represents independent cable operators, pressuring the Justice Department to intervene. And speaking of streaming-related topics, the crackdown on password sharing has made an impact, but the practice is still quite prevalent. According to Forbes Advisor, 56% of U.S. viewers still share passwords on streaming accounts. 90% indicated they would drop the service if prices go up or password sharing is completely prohibited. Average time spent streaming content every week, 20 hours. Average amount spent on streaming services, $46 per month. As expected, Super Bowl 58 set a new record with a total audience delivery of 123.4 million viewers across all platforms. That's CBS Television Network, Paramount Plus, Nickelodeon, Univision, and NFL Plus. No surprise considering that NFL games made up 93 of the top 100 most watched programs during 2023. Having only the second ever Super Bowl overtime was a windfall for CBS, with what was nearly a full extra quarter of football to run commercials, $60 million in extra ad money for a grand total of $695 million in advertising revenue. Well, how about the technical angle to the Super Bowl? Streaming was up, with 34% of viewers watching via streaming. However, for those who did stream the big game, latency was much worse than last year. Paramount Plus was the least bad, with a 42.73 second lag. Worst of all, Fubo TV with latency that averaged just less than 87 seconds. And if you're wondering whether anyone measured how much attention Taylor Swift got during the broadcast, they did. T-Vision pegged the attention index for female viewers when Swift was on the screen at a mark of 126 versus 117 when she wasn't. For the guys, the attention index with the cameras on Taylor, even higher, 128, 119 the rest of the game. And finally, what was your favorite commercial? According to USA Today's ad meter, there had 160,000 viewers rating every single ad. The winner was State Farm's Arnold Schwarzenegger Like a Good Neighbor spot that garnered a rating of 6.68, just edging out Ben Affleck and his crew, the Dun Kings, for Dunkin' Donuts. They had a score of 6.52. And if you haven't seen it yet, it's worth checking out the 4-minute, 22-second extended cut version of the Dun Kings. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on This Week in the Broadband Universe.